In this lecture, we are going to go over the muscles at the back of the torso. This right here is the trapezius. The trapezius originates from the back of the skull and inserts to the end of the clavicle, acromion process, and the spine of the scapula. This muscle allows us to move and rotate our shoulder blade. The flat muscle that you see on the side of the back is the infraspinatus. The infraspinatus comes off from the medial border of the scapula and hangs on to the humerus, which is the upper arm bone. The infraspinatus is responsible in stabilizing and centering the head of the humerus in the joint socket. The well-known hero muscle that you see at the back of a character is the teres major. The teres major attaches from the lower border of the scapula and grabs onto the humerus. This muscle helps in rotating and adducting the arms. The little muscle peeking out between the infraspinatus and the teres major is the teres minor. The teres minor originates from the end border of the scapula and inserts onto the humerus. The teres minor assists in the rotation and adduction of the arms. This right here is the rhomboid. The rhomboid attaches from the top part of the spine onto the medial border of the scapula. This muscle is responsible for retracting the scapula. The muscle that gives the torso that nice V-shaped form is the latissimus dorsi. The latissimus dorsi originates from the thoracic spine and iliac crest and inserts at the humerus. The latissimus dorsi adducts, extends, and rotates the arm. Guys, these are the muscles that are important to remember in order to be able to draw or sculpt the back properly. Here we're going to dissect the muscles on the back of the torso. So first we see the bony landmark, which is the acromion process right here. Okay, acromion process. And you got the spine of the scapula right there. And you got the medial border of the scapula. Medial border of the scapula right there. And you have the dimple right there on the butt area. Posterior, superior iliac spine. And got the iliac crest just smoothed out, not really showing due to a little bit of fat. Even though this guy is in the built side, it's still somewhat smooth there. Okay, now on to the muscles. So you see the trapezius coming down right here, the trapezius muscle from the base of the head right there. Okay, and onto the acromion, spinous scapula, and then you see coming down here with the tail of the trapezius. So this right here is the trapezius. Okay, and then we have the infraspinatus, this muscle right here, the side muscle of the back. It's a flat muscle that you see attaching from the medial border of the scapula and it attaches onto the upper arm. And this one here is going to be the hero muscles, which is going to be the teres major. Okay, so it shows right here also. This is the teres major. Okay, and a part of it is going to be covered by the latissimus dorsi muscle. This is going to be the V-shaped muscle, latissimus dorsi. All right, it's going to be that muscle there. So that's that muscle that gives that really nice muscular V shape on a male body, or sometimes a female body too, depending on the body type of the female, if it's one of those bodybuilder type of female. And you guys could see that there is this muscle here, right there. That's the spinal muscle, right? And it's right below the latissimus dorsi. It's covered by the lats, all right? But you could still see the bulge in this guy because he's very built. So you see that popping out, bulging out, okay? And you see this here, which is another bony landmark, the vertebra, all right? Okay, let's look at the other photos here. Okay, so very nice muscle that you see here, the latissimus dorsi, lats muscle, all right? Which is going to be this here, lats. And cannot forget the bony landmark. You got the acromion process, spine of the scapula, medial border scapula, and then we got the infraspinatus muscle. Okay, infraspinatus muscle there. And then we got the teres major muscle. And this muscle that you see here, the teres minor, it's so small and you don't really see it on here unless the guy is really defined, then you will be seeing that, but a lot of the times you don't really see that teres minor muscle there, okay? And we have the, here we have the trapezius muscle, this muscle here, coming down on the spine, the scapula, okay? Trapezius, this muscle right there, right? Next up, so we have the bony landmark with this the acromion process right there. Got the spine of the scapula, and we have the medial border of the scapula there. Okay, you got the posterior superior iliac spine. Got the sacrum here, triangular shape there. And for this, you got the vertebra showing, the bone of the spine there showing. Okay. Now we have the trapezius right there, tail of the trapezius. Okay, there's the muscle, trapezius muscle there. And I want you guys to take note of this really nice shape, the diamond shape on the trapezius area there, okay? See that diamond shape? And you could check out the side back muscles here. There's the teres major, okay? Teres major. And we have the infraspinatus here. And we could see that there's a little bit of the rhomboid. See this rhomboid right here? It's showing on this guy because his arm is lifted up. So when he lifts up his arm, when you lift up your arm, the scapula, right? The scapula basically rotates, and then it shows, it makes the rhomboid visible underneath there, okay? And we see that there's the lats here, latissimus dorsi, all right? V-shaped torso. Now, there is also this muscle this guy is fairly built, and so you see the bulge there of the spinal muscles too underneath the lats. The spinal muscles look like two thick columns on each side of the spine and a depression right in the middle. If the muscles are highly developed, the more you will see the depression in the back. And another muscle that you will see on the underneath the lats, if the lats are quite thin, you're going to see the serratus anterior. Remember the side muscles that you also see in the front. Let me show you in ZBrush. Jump on ZBrush here. Okay. So I'm going to hide the latissimus dorsi, hide the trapezius. Okay. And you could see here that the latissimus, you could see this area here. See this? That's going to be the serratus anterior, this muscle right here. Okay? That's the muscle that you also see in the front, which is going to be this serratus anterior, the sawtooth-like muscle. So attaching on the ribs and also coming up from behind underneath the scapula. Okay? So this is that muscle that you see there. If the latissimus dorsi, the lats are thin, you will see that on some people. Okay? And also I want to talk about the other muscles here, which is going to be the side muscles, the teres major, the infraspinatus, and the little muscle in between, teres minor muscles. They all hang on to the humerus, all right, to the bone, the upper arm bone. Okay, so as you can see here, let me just hide the deltoid. There you could see that the muscles for the infraspinatus, the teres minor and the teres major, it's all connecting onto the bone, the upper arm bone there, okay, the humerus bone. Okay, let me just go ahead and show. Hold on. Show all the tools again, make it visible. All right. And also the lats here, it's also attaching underneath it's attaching onto the humerus. Okay, so let's move on to the next photo. All right. Okay, last photo here. So, bony landmark. It's always good to check out the bony landmarks first, check them out. And once you know where the bony landmarks are at, it's easier to define how the muscle is constructed. So you got the acromion process there. You have the spine, scapula here, spine scapula, and then you got the medial border of the scapula, medial border. Okay, and you got here the posterior superior iliac spine, that bony landmark there. And the muscles, you can see here, the trapezius, this muscle here, starting from the base of the head onto the acromion process and the clavicle also in the front, and onto the spine of the scapula, and then hanging off here, and then the tail of the trapezius. Okay. Speaking of the trapezius here, I'll show you guys something. fix that out. So this muscle right here, right? This muscle is the trapezius, right? So it starts at the base of the skull. Let's see here. Navigate this for you guys. Trapezius starts at the base of the head right there. And then coming down, it all attaches onto the end of the clavicle. So this is the clavicle bone here, right? Clavicle bone. This is the trapezius. It attaches onto here. So think of it as somewhat aligning with the deltoid muscle here. Okay, so this is the deltoid muscle, and then begins here. It's going to be the trapezius muscle. So it's kinda aligning right there, okay? So it attaches onto the edge end of the clavicle and also onto the acromion process, the trapezius. And also hangs onto the spine or the scapula there. And then it, you see here, comes down. And you have this tendon right there, that flat tendon sheet there, giving it that flat wheel, right? You guys could take a look at this file here. And trapezius coming down as the tail here, okay? And I want you guys to take notice of the nice shaped flow of the muscle. So you got this flow of the muscle coming here from the acromion process onto the base of the neck, and then you have this flow of the muscle from the spine of the scapula right there onto the middle and the depression at the back, and then you got this very nice diamond shape here on the trapezius. Okay, it's a really nice muscle to look at and a very built person. Okay, so let's look further at the muscles that we have. So we see the infraspinatus there, right? Infraspinatus, which is this muscle right there, okay? Got the teres major there, muscle right there. Got the latissimus dorsi, gives that V-shaped muscle, okay? Latissimus dorsi. And as we spoke about before, we got the trapezius here, right? Trapezius coming down, and then we see that bulge there sticking out from underneath the lats. Is going to be the spinal muscles, okay? So guys, these are the muscles that you need to remember for the back torso.